Navigating in the backcountry is one of the essential skills of hiking and backpacking. So today on the channel, I want to be breaking down how to navigate with a paper map, which is an essential skill for getting out there, as well as how to use some of the modern technology to help you out planning and hiking on your trails. I'm Eric Hansen with Backpacking TV. Let's break it down starting now. Before I get into that, I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to Mystery Ranch. They are sponsoring this video. Their goal is to get more people out into the wilderness and into the outdoors and using their amazing gear, their backpacks for hiking, day hiking, and backpacking. I've been using them for a long time, really love their packs, and I do think that they are bomber. So if you're interested in getting a quality pack, check out mysteryranch.com. And let's keep talking about navigating. It's inevitable. Phones are one of the most useful tools in the backcountry, and navigating with a phone is now common practice. That being said, technology fails, batteries die, and I do want to give you all some baseline skills to navigate, read a paper map, know how to use the basics of a compass, because it is an essential skill. Now, orienteering and navigating require practice. And in this video, I'm going to do a very light level of introductory knowledge. What I really recommend for people who are serious about getting out there and going into places that are kind of off the grid, a little bit more wild, doing some hiking where you are your best resource for help, I do recommend actually taking some field practice with either somebody who's very experienced with orienteering and navigating, or taking classes, or doing something to practice this in the field. Because there's only so much I can really show you digitally. And a lot of it is going to be you getting out there with the paper map in the woods, in the mountains, in the deserts, and navigating yourself before this stuff will really click. I do recommend highly that everyone still carries a physical paper map with them when they're going hiking. There is a distinction to be made. If you are going on a neighborhood trail or somewhere close to town or civilization and the trails are super well marked, then this isn't really what I'm talking about. I am talking about when you're getting out there in wilderness areas, in national forests, in the mountains, in deserts, in canyon country, where rescue or help is not easy to come by, and you're just gonna be farther away from any sort of guidance or help or anything like that. So if you go out to pretty much any gear shop, hiking shop, retailer around being in the outdoors, you probably see these maps around. These are the National Geographic branded maps. These are probably the most common, but if you go into ranger stations and things like that, you're gonna see these USGS Geological Survey maps, and there's other brands, of course, out there, but these are super common. So when you get the map for the area that you wanna be hiking or backpacking in, obviously make sure that it covers the region that you're gonna be in. For example, I've got the Wind River North, but it doesn't include the Wind River South. So if I'm gonna be hiking through the Wind River Range, I might need to get to, or I might need to just verify that my trail is in the right spot on the maps. Okay, so when you get your map, obviously open it up, and there's something that's really important to know about, and that's called declination. Let's say this basketball is the Earth. Now, this might be true north, it's gonna be on a tilt, and magnetic north is actually somewhere down over here. So if you happen to be right here on the map, then yes, when you have your compass, it's gonna point directly at actual north. However, if you're over here, actual north is over here, but magnetic north, your compass is gonna be reading that north is over here. While that may be a subtle difference and it doesn't feel like a lot, it is really important to know, especially if you're navigating over larger distances. So when you look at the map, there's gonna be this little rose diagram, which kind of looks like a compass, because it's basically telling you what to do with your compass. If you line up your compass at 360, so that would be like true north, you can place that over that little rose, and then it's going to tell you, declination for the Wind River Range is 10 degrees east. So that means I need to rotate my dial 10 degrees, and you can kind of just line it up Now, when you orient your map, it will actually be pointing you in the correct direction. A huge amount. It is significant enough, but certain places on the globe, you might see some widely varying declinations that are going to be very important to factor in. Okay, so let's say you're in the wild. What you're going to be doing with the map is you're going to orient the map according to the layout of the mountains and the landscape or wherever you are. So you physically, I think it's a good idea to just put the map on the ground. Now that you've accounted for declination, I like to put my compass here on the edge of the map and basically point it, but I change this degrees just however so slightly, and now my map lines up with reality in relation to north. So if I'm standing on a mountaintop, I'm here on a map and I see a mountain over here, well, this is in direct relation to each other. When you're standing on a high point or some place where you need to navigate and you know you're gonna go, okay, to another river valley or to another lake or something on a map, your intended goal, what you can do, place it where you know you are on the map, and then make a line to where you intend to go. So let's say I am here at Photographer's Point and I intend to get to Island Lake. So what you're gonna do is now place this on the map. You've got your line of direction, spin this little dial so that the red shed, the red housing for the north marker is pointed north, and this actually will contain the red needle which points to north. So that means when you are traveling, say, northeast or east, this is giving you the direction of travel. As you hike, you simply keep this pointed to north and you are following your compass bearing. That is the basics of setting a bearing and hiking and following it. Now, when you are hiking and following a trail, then this might not necessarily be necessary because you're using the trail to follow the normal path, the easiest path to travel. However, if you need to ever navigate off-route or go cross-country or say go from peak to peak where there is no trail, that's what this is for. Or of course, if you just get lost, then this is how you can know how to navigate out of where you're going. Making sure that you're not just wandering around, going in circles, you can be navigating, oh, I know I need to go southeast at this declination or at this bearing, and that's gonna get me out. This is your backup plan. This is how to navigate and orient with a paper map. Now there are more nuances, there's triangulation, there's getting your bearings without being able to say, oh, I know I'm right here on the map. So it is complicated and there are things that are really worth taking a course to deepen your knowledge because this is super, super basic. This is information to have in your back pocket for when it comes time to not use your phone, because I get the realities that almost everybody is just gonna be using their phone out there, myself included. I find it to be very convenient to use some of the applications out there, the trail maps, that are just quite great. A friend of mine referred me to CalTopo. It was the first map company that I really started paying for and using, and found them to be great. However, it is a very technical service that they provide, and for general users out there, it's just a little bit too much and it's a little bit complicated. So about 2 years ago, I just started using Onyx, and have found them to be a wonderful blend of intuitive, useful, while still providing some of that technical knowledge that you're going to need. So it's dead easy to use and I really like it. And there's some great features that make it easy. So let's say, same scenario, I'm going into the Wind River Range. I wanna go through Photographer's Point out to Island Lake and then on to Titcomb Basin. Well, I find my map right here. I can look at my trail profiles, and what's really cool is that I can see where it is you are navigating, knowing your route. Oh, okay, this route goes 9.2 miles. It's moderate difficulty. I can see the trail profile. I can see how much it's going up, how much it's going down, where the high points, where the low points are. All of those things can be very difficult to understand on a paper map. It can be very deceiving how rugged terrain is on a paper map, because it flattens everything out. So you don't see these 800-foot rises in 100 meters or anything like that. And this gives you that information. It will also give you highest points, lowest points, elevation gains, elevation losses, other people's trip reports that people log in here, general descriptions, photos, and it makes it super easy to feel not intimidated and give you the information that you need. What I think that is maybe the most helpful is that you can download these maps, have them offline, so that you can keep your phone in airplane mode when you're actually hiking or backpacking so that your battery doesn't die. If I have this on airplane mode, I can get, generally speaking, 3 to 4 days of battery before needing to recharge, which for a lot of times is a full backpacking trip. Of course, if I'm going longer, then I need to bring some other source or be counting on a paper map because my phone's gonna die at some point in there. Even when you're on airplane mode, this map will show you where you're at. It's still communicating with GPS, and it gives you very accurate, up-to-date information about where you are, where you're gonna be heading, trail junctions, all sorts of information that's really great to have. Now, there are other maps out there that are awesome too. All Trails, Gaia, Strava, there's a bunch. I just have happened to use Onyx and have found it to be intuitive and easy, and so it's one that I can personally easily recommend because I know it's good. That being said, what's also cool is I like using a service like this for, generally speaking, planning my trips as well as actively navigating when I'm in the experience, in the nitty-gritty of the mountains. I can be looking at maps, I can be looking at trails, and it helps me discover what else is even out there. Because sometimes it's really hard to tell on a paper map. Sometimes the maps don't include all the trails. Obviously, it isn't gonna contain every route and every trail, but people have done a great job at submitting information, and it's a pretty robust app. I have found it to be really cool to use. Everybody who's going hiking and backpacking should have a baseline of confidence in their own ability to navigate. Now, I think it's important that even if you're going with somebody who is more experienced than you, who knows a route, I don't like to have all my eggs in one basket and have only one person know the route, know the trail, have the maps, have the apps. And so if you are going on a trip, even if somebody else is leading it, it's a good idea to at least download your own maps, check the maps as you go, get some practice in the field, and use that as an opportunity. If you are going with somebody who has a lot more experience than you, ask them to show you what they're doing when they're navigating. And that is one of the best things that you can do to get that real field experience so that you become a more competent and capable outdoors person, so that when it's your turn to lead, or if you're by yourself, you know what you're doing. If you all have some quality information as to where to go to actually get the training, I would love to hear from you. I got my training from my job as I was employed as a backpacking guide. Now, most people probably aren't going to get a job in order to gain these skills, but there are some training programs that are out there. I'm just not super familiar with what they actually are. So if you have access to that information, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. I'll try to pin whoever has a good resource there. So hit me up in the comments, let me know what you think. What else do people need to know to be equipped for navigating in the backcountry? Hope you found this video helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Eric Hansen with Backpacking TV. Have a good day, everybody. Peace.